What's up, everyone? So today I'm going to be comparing the GoPro Hero 10 with the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. I don't know if anyone's done this yet, but I wanted to see exactly what kind of an upgrade we're getting when we're going from an older action cam to one of the newer models. We've already done comparisons with the Ace Pro 2 and the Action 5, the two latest and greatest action cams that we have today. But I wanted to do a little bit of a comparison with an older model, just to give folks who have older models like the Hero 10 an idea just how much of an upgrade they're getting when they're going from an older cam to one of these newer cams. One of the issues that I had with the GoPro in earlier filmings when I was on the beach was its audio quality and its lack of ability to handle wind reduction properly. So it's kind of a windy day right now. The wind has calmed down, but we're going to get a swirl here in a second and we're going to be able to compare these two. I've got voice enhancement on the Ace Pro 2, and all of the settings that I've got are as similar as they can be between the GoPro and the Ace Pro 2. I've got both set to max ISO 400. Seems to be okay exposed here. The GoPro may be a little bit underexposed. I've got wind reduction on the GoPro on and voice enhancement on the Ace Pro 2 on. I do have some of the features that aren't available on the GoPro on the Ace Pro 2, such as face priority exposure. The EV on the GoPro is set to -5 and the EV on the Ace Pro 2 is set to -7. That's how I would usually shoot with both of these cameras. And yeah, let's go for a little bit of a walk. Also, I've got horizon balancing on both of these, and they're both set to linear. So check out the field of view on both of these. I'm gonna try to shoot this in a way that we get a good side-by-side comparison, but I'm seeing that I'm not gonna be able to do as good of a framing as I'd like because the Ace Pro 2 is up a little bit higher than the GoPro, but we're gonna do the best we can. Okay, so what I've done is I've increased the ISO on the GoPro to 800 because I think that's a little bit more fair. I think that the Ace Pro 2 is just a more sensitive sensor. We're gonna give the GoPro a little bit of a boost there. Also, the GoPro for some reason does go down to a max ISO of 100, whereas the Ace Pro 2, the max ISO can only be set down to 400. I'm also going to talk about what I think about the Insta360 X5, the new 360 camera that Insta360 has just released. And I've got a little bit of an opinion on that. I think it is definitely the best 360 camera that we have to date, hands down. Wow, I see the GoPro is gonna need even more of a boost, and I just have trees here. So let's set it to 1600, give it the best possible shot. Okay, so this is with the GoPro set to max ISO of 1600, and even now it seems underexposed. And I just have trees. It's a little bit, I guess it's partially cloudy. Maybe fully cloudy, but yeah, it is bright out, you know, with my sunglasses and everything. And that is one thing that you won't get with the older action cams, specifically the GoPros, is that ability to expose in low light, if you can even call this low light. So the Insta360 has released the new 360 cam. It's X5. It's definitely better, like I said, than the X4. It's definitely the best consumer level 360 camera in the business. However, I don't think we're there yet, because if you think about it, when you crop from a 360 degree view, if it's 8K, if you want a 180 degree view, you're getting 4K. But 180 degrees, that is very, very, very wide and fisheye. And I'm not particularly a fan of a fisheye kind of a look. It's okay for like a scene, a small scene, you know, an action cam type of scene. But other than that, I don't particularly like seeing it all the time like that for an extended period of time. The view gets old if it's fisheye. I prefer, you know, something 120 degrees or less. 90 degrees would be completely eradicating the fisheye type of look. At 127 degrees, you get kind of close. And if you do a little bit of things in post, or the camera can do things, or the program can do things, it's doable for vlogging at 127 degrees, but it's still not ideal. And at that point, you're getting 2.7K. And it's not that bad if it were coming straight out of the camera. But as you know, if you've done an upload on YouTube, if you're uploading in 1080p, it's going to look significantly worse than a 4K upload, even on a 1080p monitor or television. Now, if you're viewing on your cell phone or whatever, that's fine. But for some reason, YouTube just really doesn't do well with 1080 footage. I'm not so sure about 2.7K, but it's sweet spot. What it deals with the best is 4K. Like I said, even when you're watching it on a lower resolution screen of any size. So that is one huge disadvantage. And if I hadn't seen the footage for myself, it wouldn't be that much of an issue. I got a feeling the GoPro is going to sound bad now that the wind is kicking up here. And probably looks bad as well, although the screen has gone blank because it does that to conserve battery, but I can see myself clearly in the Ace Pro 2 with the flip screen. So huge difference here in this. Now it's getting kind of low light here because the sun is behind the trees there. But yeah, when I was looking at the footage, when I was looking at comparisons between like some of these modern action cams for vlogging and the Insta360 X5, I was kind of pixel peeping just a little bit because I kind of noticed it. And once you notice something, even if it's minor, it's hard to unnotice it. And if you've already got a camera like the Ace Pro 2 or the DJI Action 5, and you're primarily vlogging, why pay $600 for a camera that's going to come in handy when you're going to only use it in certain situations? I'm going to walk back over here, and because there's some sun, and so we can get a kind of a view on how this handles the changing exposure levels with this changing lighting. So I'm going to be backlit here. And then we're going to be front lit here. Now, sometimes the Ace Pro 2 has a tendency to do some weird things when you've got bright light on you. I'm not so sure if it's doing it now. I can't really see, but I think it might be. That's one thing that I've noticed on it. Hopefully they can kind of fix that, or they fix that in the firmware update. Both of these have the most up-to-date firmware. I don't know exactly what numbers those are, but I'll put those below for you to take a look at. So that's what I'm thinking when it comes to the X5. And because I'm not interested in it, I'm probably not going to be doing any comparisons at all. I'm not going to purchase it because it's not really worth my time for my particular use case. Now, if I were doing some things such as action type of things a lot, absolutely, I would pick up the X5 in a heartbeat because it is the superior action cam, because you can do crazy things with it and you can frame it from every angle. And when you're doing something action, you don't have a chance to frame things. So it's perfect for that. But for an all-purpose camera, it's probably not the best, in my opinion, because of the crop. When we get to 16K, now we're talking. But then again, by the time we get to 16K, is 8K going to be, you know, the standard format, just like 4K is now? I don't know. But for right now, for me, Ace Pro 2 is my all-purpose camera, the camera that I'm going to take to the beach, the camera that I'm going to be vlogging with when I'm near water or when it's wet outside. That's just my opinion about things. And when I'm actually thinking I'm going on a cruise next month, so subscribing to see that video. But yeah, I'm thinking about leaving the A6700 when I go on that cruise, and only taking the Ace Pro 2, the GoPro for my son, probably give it to my son, and the Pocket 3, and then my cell phone. So literally I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras anyway. Why would I need a fifth? I do like to get really cinematic, and I love its low light, so I might end up bringing it just because I have it. But yeah, I'm not so sure. I'm currently editing the video of me and my son. We took a day trip down to Myrtle Beach. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know if it'll come out before now or after this video, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. And what I've realized in my experiences is that if you keep the ISO as low as possible, then you're going to end up with better image quality. And that's a mistake that I've made in the past. I was actually listening to another YouTuber. His name is Luis Hermosillo. You should definitely check out his channel if you're interested in learning about action cams, deciding on gear and accessories and everything. He made a really good point that I didn't think about, or actually, he made a really good discovery that I didn't make, in that if you use ND filters, the action cams and even the Pocket 3 tends to raise the ISO before it lowers the shutter speed. So if you're using ND, be very cautious that you're not raising your ISO up. And I think I've done that in the past. So make sure you set your ISO to a max. It's really important. I did that on my trip with my son to Myrtle Beach. And as I'm editing the footage now, I'm realizing that the footage looks clean. It looks really clean from the Pocket 3. Very satisfied with the footage that I got out of the Pocket 3 for the most part. It still has a tendency to kind of blur in an overexposed scene, like with your face when you're backlit. Okay, I think I've got hand gestures on the Ace Pro 2, and I threw my hand up like a stop sign and it stopped the recording. I'm gonna have to turn that off because I'd rather just manually control everything, just personally, unless I'm in a situation where I'm not gonna be able to reach over and tap the shutter button there. So I was very satisfied with the footage I got out of the Pocket 3 and the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. So I did some testing in the water. You can go back and check out that video, or it's gonna come out later on, so be sure to check that one out as well. Anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna end this here. Hope you enjoyed the talk. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Be sure to like this video if you forgot by now, especially if you're listening still. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you in the next one. In a pinch. You know, I think the Pixel 8 Pro is definitely underrated as far as, you know, being, you know, a good video and a photography camera. All of my thumbnails and everything. By the way, oh yeah, almost forgot, thumbnail. Always forget thumbnail.